It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
I still have technical issues. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 9th day of January 2020. And yes, I'm just double checking we are live. I haven't talked about this for a while. You know, I always bring you live on currently on two platforms. Of course, YouTube, which is the majority of my viewers, and also on Facebook. If you watch on Facebook and you leave a comment, you need to identify yourself, because for whatever reason, the interface with Facebook and my guys, it doesn't come through, and it shows just Facebook user. It doesn't show who you are, so I won't necessarily know who has left me a comment during the live broadcast. Of course, I can see it when I'm actually on Facebook. But at any rate, always let me know who you are if you're leaving a comment on Facebook. One personal thing to touch on. Most of you know that I had a PET scan last week, and yesterday was my doctor's appointment to get the results of the PET scan. And I don't mind telling you, folks, I was scared the bejesus out of me when they send me into a building that has cancer clinic in the name. That was enough to scare the crap out of me. But anyway, I went to see my lung specialist, and I am PET negative. Now, what that means is that even though I've got some nodules in my lungs, and the nodules have changed a little over the last year, I do regular CAT scans. There was some change, but there is nothing that indicates any cancerous business, no blooming growth, none of that stuff. So that was good news. It was the best news I could get. So I was tickled with that. I'd have to take another CAT scan in 6 months, and then we'll see if there's any change. But at least for now, I'm good to go. So, and he wants me back exercising and doing the things that I was doing before. So, you know, I'm not the biggest exercise person around, but that's neither here nor there. So, now the other thing, my project with Viator, I'm tickled pink with that. If you guys were watching, that would have been Tuesday. I had just gotten approval as a partnership with Viator that morning, which means that I will be representing Viator excursions literally worldwide. So if anybody who's looking for excursions, let me know. Now, I've got a few things that I've still, and I know you guys would never think that I would have technical issues, but I have a couple technical issues with these folks to work out. One on my website, if I'm using their little widget, the little picture, let's say if I have a site with a cruise to Bermuda and I want to promote the excursions in Kings Wharf with the little picture, the little widget jobby. Okay, the default setting on Viator's overall machinery is for Rome, Italy. I can't get it to change that picture to put up a picture for Kings Wharf. Now I can link it to the Kings Wharf page. I can link it to a Bermuda page. You know, I can do all that, but I can't make the widget to what I want to promote on that page on my website. So I've still got that to work out. And of course, it's going to take me forever with the reconstruction of my website to get now links to excursions, because you got to figure, let's say an average cruise you've got your port to start with. Let's say a Port Canaveral, for instance. Okay, so there's excursions you can run out of Port Canaveral. Well, that has a link that would go on the website, and then when I'm talking about Port Canaveral, and then maybe there's 4 or 5 ports of call on a 7-day cruise. That's not unusual. Well, there's links to each one of those. So right there is, 5, 6 links at least that I have to construct and post, and it takes some time. And because I have, I don't know, 400 pages on my website, and it's got to be done individually. You can't, just wave a magic wand and have it done. So, and again, I'm a little guy, one-man operation, so it's going to take me quite a while. But I'm working at it. Now, if in the description of all of my videos, there's a link to Viator. So if somebody wants to you get into the search engine and search for any place in the world for excursions, that's now in the description of every video, and will ongoing. When this live stream becomes a video later on today, there'll be a link in the description to Viator. So that's there. And yeah, folks, I'm going to make a little bit of money doing it. A little override on the cost. So that'll help the channel, and we'll see. So if you're ever looking for an excursion and want to maybe save some money over the what they charge you on the cruise lines, with them continuing to raise stuff, you can now check it out. And Gretchen, good morning, Gretchen. Gretchen says, good to hear. Okay, glad you're with us, Gretchen. All right, let's get on to the business at hand today. My lead story again this morning is from the awful earthquake in Puerto Rico. Of course, that is the lovely landmark that is now destroyed. What broke yesterday is roughly 2/3 of Puerto Rico are without electricity. Many still don't have water, and frightened residents are staying outside as a series of aftershocks continues to race along the island and rocks the island following the 6.4 magnitude earthquake. They've raised what the originally had called on it. The quake was the strongest and likely the most damaging of hundreds of tremblors that have struck the island since December 28th. I mean, we're talking about 10, 20 a day. I mean, it's just ongoing thing. And then with the big earthquake, it hit, of course, before dawn on Tuesday, and it did leave one man dead and caused dozens of homes and structures to crumble. Now, it was centered off the southern coast, 6 miles south of Indios. The governor declared, of course, a state of emergency and activated the National Guard as she pleaded with residents to remain calm and prepare for aftershocks. And there have been lots and lots of them. It's the third time some people have lost their homes due to natural disasters, which, yeah, that's pretty tough to take. A 4.7 quake was reported Wednesday afternoon, one of the stronger aftershocks that was right off the southern coast again. The National Weather Service has confirmed several times now there is no tsunami threat. That's something that one has to watch for in these situations, that it just starts a tsunami, a big wave that rolls through to, from there, it could roll through to some of the other islands. But so far there has been no indication of that whatsoever. But it's been a tough situation in Puerto Rico again. Lots of damage. And of course, as we talked about, the multiple landmarks that were destroyed. Of course, you've got people in shelters. And now you're back to having a major portion of the island still has no electricity. And that just precipitates and makes it worse. If there is a good news from all of this, the cruise lines, all of them have kept calling on Puerto Rico. After the hurricanes, they lost a lot of business because the ships couldn't get in there. And once they finally started coming back, it started helping things again. Well, the cruise lines have kept going despite the extensive damage. Of course, the damage was down toward the southern end, closer to Ponce than it is up at San Juan. But still, the ships are going in there, both Carnival and Royal Caribbean, on a regular basis. Again, one of the things that the cruise companies have watched for is the tsunami warnings, and thankfully there has been none on that. The power is being restored, but it's being slow. It's being quite slow. There were 3 ships they called on San Juan yesterday that were that not based there. Both of those ships sailed over the weekend, but there were several callings. The New Amsterdam from Holland America, the Carnival Conquest, and the Norwegian Encore all landed in San Juan, and folks got out and they did what they could. I'm sure some of the excursions had to be handled differently, but at least in the San Juan area where a lot of that activity would have been, that's the area that's the least hit from this. So that's a tough story for these folks in Puerto Rico, which is just just one thing after another for these guys. But anyway, cruise lines are doing well, going as scheduled, which is going to keep helping the economy in Puerto Rico as they work to get through another natural disaster. A little sip of coffee, folks. Come to think about it, and a word from one of our partner sponsors. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. All right. Thank you for our folks from Scootaround. By the way, folks, if you have mobility issues and you need if you have problems walking or getting around or have oxygen needs, Scootaround the people to go to. I use them myself. My 2 cruises coming up here in a couple weeks now. I have my scooters booked. Scooters will be waiting for me in my cabin on both ships. They're just great people to work with. And so if you have that need, you've got a phone number there to call, or you can leave a comment for me and I will be happy to quarterback the deal for you. Use that little code, that SRN 11137, I believe the number is. That will guarantee you the best price, and it guarantees that I get a little credit for that too. So Scootaround, they're good people. Like I say, I use them myself. Bonnie, who's one of our regulars in our audience, uses them also. So, all right, couple other things to mention this morning. Royal Caribbean has canceled. Yeah, come on, tongue. has canceled 5 Liberty of the Seas sailings to provide more time for ship amplification. Now, remember, Royal Caribbean decides they're not going to call it refurbishment anymore. Don't ask me why. It's amplification. And this is not happening now until next year with the Liberty of the Seas. But I guess they decided to do more amplification to the Liberty of the Seas than was originally scheduled, and it's going to take more time. So they have canceled 5 additional sailings in 2021, and are making a kind of a big deal out of it. And the cruise line confirmed that the 5 sailings are being canceled beginning with the excuse me, February 14th, 2021 sailing date. An extended dry dock is necessary in order to perform the upgrades and enhancements the ship will receive as part of Royal Caribbean's more than $1 billion Royal Amplified Fleet modernization effort. How's that for some fancy selling BS? Anyway, so if you had some plans for the Liberty of the Seas in 2021, you want to check those dates, because there's some of those have been canceled. And there's a number of people have heard about this story. My friend Bruce had it while I was actually running around getting that some medical stuff done the other day. The Carnival Dream, of course, altered one cruise due to a medical emergency. They were on their way to Cozumel, had a medical emergency on board, and the decision was made to go back to Galveston due to the medical emergency. They did that. They disembarked the passenger, and then the Dream went back to sea and spent a day sailing around to nowhere, and I think eventually got back to Mexico, but they had to skip out on Cozumel due to the Cozumel schedule, and there were areas that they could not use the casino and the shops because of the U.S. laws, and it turned out to be a headache for the passengers, but they took care of a medical emergency on board on the Carnival Dream. They're back on the next cruise now, so, and it went off on schedule. So, no, that's not true. The ship returns on the 11th, so it returns. What's that, Saturday? This is the 9th. Yeah, Saturday. The next cruise starts. So anyway, they missed out on Cozumel. Probably, unless they're first-time cruisers, they've been to Cozumel. Most of the people have been to Cozumel anyway, because we've all been there numerous times. One other thing that I mentioned today has nothing to do with the cruise industry, but it does have something to do with the travel industry. You know, Monday is the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship. And I know everybody's just waiting in bated breath to try to get tickets to that game. $1,500 a seat and up to see a college football game. Hey. And that's not even that. I mean, that's up in the nosebleed seats. The down, if you're down where you can almost see things, they're at $5,500 a piece and up. So, I mean, these people are spending a boatload of money to go see a football game. I'm a football fan. I would not do that. I'd rather watch it on TV where you can see, you know, as opposed to being there live and all that crowd and mess and lines and spend that kind of money. Ain't gonna happen, folks. So that wraps us up for this morning. I'm glad all you guys could make it. By the way, we have had an excellent week as far as our growth goes. We're up to 1,689 folks now. So if you're new and just happen to be checking this out, welcome to you. We are here every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. To talk about travel and cruise industry news. And then regularly, a little sip of coffee because the throat's going. Regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, hit the little subscribe button down in the lower right-hand corner. The bell notification will let you know when I go live, like this morning, or something special comes up between now and the next episode of Travel and Cruise Industry News. We go live on the fly, or it notifies you when I get a new video posted, and there's going to be a lot more of that coming up too. So we're working on several videos right now, and of course now we've got excursions to do videos on that I can be working on that. And of course we've got the cruises, 2 cruises coming up in February. I'm still working out the details on trying to be able to live stream from the ships, but we'll see. It's a little on the expensive side, but we'll see how that's going to work out. But anyway, folks, hit the little subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate it. And as always, I appreciate having thumbs up or thumbs down if you want. That doesn't matter. But that lets YouTube know that somebody's out there actually watching and paying attention. So that about wraps us up for today. I will see you again on Saturday, or in the meantime, if something major happens. So for now, this is the Fat Travel Guy. You guys be good, smile a lot, and be good to each other.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.